الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم صلى الله عليك يا سيدي ومولاي يا رسول الله وعلى آلك المظلومين صلى الله عليك يا سيدي ومولاي يا أبا عبد الله يا مظلوم يا شهيد يا غريب كربلاء لعن الله الظالمين لكم يا ليتنا كنا معكم فنفوز فوزا عظيما صلوات Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Brothers and sisters, tonight is the last night I'll be speaking up here. I just wanted to say thank you for having me. You've been great hosts. It's been such a pleasure. I hope to come again and see you all again. And I just wanted to say a few names of my teachers, if you can recite salawat for them, because they put so much effort into helping me get these lectures together and gave me a lot of their time. I wanted to say thank you to Sheikh Hisham Hammoud, Sheikh Mustafa Sha'lan. I wanted to say thank you to Sheikh Akram Barakat, Sheikh Qazim Yassin, and my brothers Sheikh Hussain Shamsuddin and Sheikh Muhammad Barakat. If you can recite salawat for them, please. Since this is the last day, and a few people have been asking me about different ahkam, so I'm going to say a few of them now. Some in wudu, some with salat. For wudu, just a few notes, useful notes to have, that when we are wiping on our head or on our feet, the head must be still and the foot must be still. So you can't keep your hand still and wipe your foot onto your hand. Some people do that. So you have to wipe the hand onto the foot, okay? And the head has to be still. You wipe the hand onto the head. That's number one. Number two, muwalat. That's when the wudu is continuous. You can't do your arms and then go watch an episode of Simpsons and then wipe on your head and then wipe on your feet. You have to do it after each other. If, for example, you did it and only your feet left, you walked to the couch, you sat down a few seconds in between, that's okay, that's not a problem, there is no separation between them. But you can't take a long time between them, that's number two. Number three, some people ask, can I do wudu before the time of prayer? Yes, you can. You can be on wudu in the morning, and then if it continues till Dhuhr and Asr time, and you're still on wudu, you carry on, you pray the prayer. Number four, if it's Maghrib and Isha, and I did my wudu in the morning, and I'm not sure, did I do anything for the wudu to go? Did I sleep? Or were there some bowel movements? And you're not fully sure? If you're not sure, you remember you did wudu, and you're doubting anything else, that means you stay on wudu. So then, I'm not sure, am I still on wudu or not? I remember doing wudu, I don't remember anything else, maybe, but I don't remember, that means you're on wudu, you carry on, you just pray as if you're on wudu. That's for the wudu side. For salat, someone asked me yesterday if I forgot to say the tashahhud on the second rak'ah, ashhadu an la ilaha illallah. I forgot to say it and I carried on my prayer, and I remembered after the prayer. What do I do? Now there's some small difference of opinion between the maraja. Ayatollah Khamenei, he says that when you finish, when you remember that you missed the tashahhud, you can just do the qada of the tashahhud straight away. So you sit down and you have the intention to do the qada, ashhadu an la ilaha, you finish the qada, then you do something called sajdat al-Sahw. I'm going to tell you what that is now. Sayyid Sistani says you don't have to do the qada of the tashahhud, you just do sajdat al-Sahw straight away. Okay? Sajdat al-Sahw is basically the two sajdas with the tashahhud and the salam. But when you are in sujood, you say something different. You say subhana rabbil a'la wa bihamdi. So say I finished the prayer. I forgot to say my tashahhud. Depending on which marja I follow, then I would sit down, I do Allahu Akbar, I straight away go into sujood. Then you say Bismillah wa billah, Assalamu alayka ayyuhan nabi wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. You get up, you go back down. Bismillah wa billah, Assalamu alayka ayyuhan nabi wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. You get up again, you do your tashahhud, you do taslim. And that's it, that's fine, the salat's okay, you don't have to redo it. Because remember, it's not a rukun. Remember we said we named the 5 rukuns, remember? The niyyah, the takbir, the qiyam, ruku' sujood. Because the tashahhud is not part of these, then the prayer can be fixed. If it was part of these and they were missing from the prayer, you have to redo the prayer. Okay? Another question we often get, sorry I'm going really quick, we don't have much time and I wanted you guys, a lot of people ask these questions. If I am doubting between the 3rd and 4th rak'ah, so I'm praying right now, wait, I'm saying subhanallah, walhamdulillah, wa la ilaha illallah, wallahu akbar, but am I on number 3 or am I on number 4? Here, just carry on as if you're on number 3. Do your tashahhud, do your taslim, finish the prayer, then stand up again straight away, then do something called rik'at ihtiyat. It's a rik'ah just in case. You do the rik'ah, you say takbir, you say Fatiha, you say the Quran, the surah after it, ruku' sujood, normal. If in fact you did 3, the rik'ah would mean it's 4. So it wouldn't be batil. You would have done the rik'ah ihtiyat, that means your prayer is okay. If in fact in the beginning you did 4, then the one just in case doesn't matter, it was extra. You had finished on 4. Make sense? Anyone has questions afterwards, please let me know. Another thing, many people asked me for the book list yesterday and I couldn't keep up. So today I wrote down a bunch of books, Islamic and non-Islamic, some things on YouTube for you guys to follow, my contact details. Put them on a paper outside, inshallah. You're going to be out, there's like 20 papers. If there's not enough, if you can photocopy them for someone else, keep in touch with me, anything you need, I'm at your service. Sallallahu ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad. ثانية على حب الزهراء. Today we're going to be talking about Imam Mahdi. But I will begin with the Hadith of Anwan al-Basri. Anwan was living at the time of Imam al-Sadiq alayhi salam. This is a very, very important hadith. We recommend it actually if we can print this hadith out and just carry it with us. You know, put it in your pocket or in your wallet. It's very good to always look over this hadith. I'm going to just summarize it now and how can we relate to it to our Imam in our time. So Anwan al-Basri, he's 94 years old. Straight away, that's the first lesson. He's 94 years old and he's trying to make a change in his life. He has spent his life under the tutelage of Malik ibn Anas. You know the Maliki sect within the Sunni school? Malik ibn Anas is the leader of that school, school in the Sunni sect. And so he has been under his tutelage for a very long time, studying under him. He's a jurisprudent. He's 94 years old, but he decides, I want to go to the source. I want to go to Imam Sadiq alayhi salam. Let me see what he can offer me. So he goes to Imam Sadiq. He tells him, I want to be your student. And the Imam barely gives him any recognition. Doesn't even look at him. Tells him to go home. Anwan feels so upset by this. He tries to speak to the Imam, but the Imam is not giving him any time. You're with Malik ibn Anas, go to Malik ibn Anas. He's been with you this whole time, go to him. So Anwan goes home, and he has a very hard time accepting this. And he goes through this for months. Now, I want you to imagine how difficult it is. Imagine Imam Mahdi said to you, go home. Imagine you came to him, you tried to speak to him, you tried to tell him, I want to be with you. He told you, go home, I don't want to see you. So now, Anwan slowly is starting to feel the love for the Imam. But he got rejected by the Imam. He goes home, he said, until his chest began to hurt him so much. He couldn't take it anymore. So he decided one day he has to do something about it. He's a smart man. He went to the Prophet's grave. Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. So another lesson, when you want something, go to the Prophet. He went to the Prophet's grave and he told him, Ya Rasulullah, your grandson doesn't want to see me. He complained to him, please make dua for me so he can see me, so he can accept me. He went home, he prayed his Dhuhr and Asr, and he goes, that's it, I'm going to see the Imam. He went, he knocked on the Imam's door. He was persistent. He knocked on the Imam's door. The Imam's maid answered. Who is it? Anwan. What do you want? I want to see Imam Sadiq. Imam Sadiq is busy right now. He's praying. He can't see you. So Anwan sat down outside the house. He's not going to leave. Told her, when he finishes, I'm ready. Imam Sadiq alayhi salam came. Who's at the door? She told him it's Anwan al-Basri. He said, let him in. Came inside. The first thing the Imam tells him, Ijlis, ghafar Allahu lak. He just made a dua for him. Sit down. May Allah forgive all your sins. That's it. All his sins have been wiped out from the Imam. Straight away. You know when you go on ziyarah, you go to see Imam Hussain, you go to see Imam Ali alayhi salam. This is straight away. You say salam alaikum, they reply alaikum salam. Maybe you can't hear them. They're alive though. They're more alive than me and you. And when they pray for you, for all your sins to be, the Ma'soom prayed for you, for all your sins to be forgiven. First thing, sit down. May God forgive you your sins. And Imam Basri straight away goes back to sifr, to zero in terms of sins. Now he's so clean from just one thing. He sits down. He's thinking, he writes down, he thinks, if this is all that comes out of this meeting, it's more than enough. So Imam Sadiq alayhi salam, he sits down. He looks at Anwan. Then he looks back down on the floor. Then he looks back up at Anwan. And you know, the men of God and the women of God, they're very specific with what they look at. They don't look at anything. It's not free. Their looks don't go out for free. You can see it with the Arafat these days. Sheikh Bahjat, the mystic that we've been remembering these last few nights, he would always look down on the floor. You can see it in his videos. He's always looking down. But if he feels there's a reason for him to look at someone, and if he feels there's someone special, he'll stop. You can see it in the videos. Then he just looks at the man, looks at him for a few seconds, and he walks on. The doorway to the soul, the eyes. When he used to go into a majlis or a lecture to teach, he already feels who's in the crowd. He knows there's about 8 people special in the crowd. Comes in, looks at them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Then that's it. Won't look at anyone else. He pinpoints who he looks at. The looks are very specific. So Imam Sadiq alayhi salam looks up at him. Looks back down. Looks back up at him. And Anwan is sitting there, feeling nervous. And then he asks. He wants knowledge. He asks him, Uridu al-ilm, I want knowledge. Imam Sadiq tells him, you don't want knowledge from me. What type of knowledge do you want? You've been studying under Malik for all these years. You don't want book knowledge. You want information from me? Imam Sadiq is much higher than just to give information. To read a few books. You know, yesterday we said forget the books, forget the sermons, forget feel. Imam Sadiq, he's trying to show him there's something more important than what he believes to be knowledge. He says to him, العلم ليس بكثرة التعلم بل هو نور من الله يقذفه في قلب من يشاء. He says that knowledge is not in strenuous study. It's not in how many books you read. Knowledge is nur from God, a light from Allah. He sends it into the heart of whom He wills. Knowledge is a light. Yesterday we said that sometimes knowledge might be a hajub between you and God. That if you keep finding out about Allah, information on Tawheed, but then you become this person who shows off, then there's no point to all that knowledge. Actually, it takes you away from God. Now, again, we're not saying that don't study, we're not saying don't read books, not at all. It's very important to. But we're saying that's not the real aim. The real aim isn't book knowledge. The real aim isn't information. Richard Dawkins has a lot of information. Richard Dawkins has a lot of knowledge in terms of science. But he doesn't have any ma'rifah. He's not attaining his goal of creation. So he doesn't have that true knowledge that Allah wants for him. It's nur. You have to pray for that. You have to struggle for that. You have to clean your heart for that. So Imam Sadiq alayhi salam is stressing that it's not in how much books you read. Sallallahu ala Muhammad wa alihi. So he carries on, he tells him, فَإِنْ أَرَدْتَ الْعِلْمِ فَاطْلُبْ فِي نَفْسِكَ حَقِيقَةَ الْعُبُودِيَّةِ. If you want real knowledge, then seek within yourself the truth of ubudiyya, of worship. Why does he say fi nafsika? Utlub fi nafsika, in yourself. Why in yourself? If we look at Plato, the philosopher, not that we agree with Plato's thoughts, everything that he says, but this is an example, an analogy to bring us closer to the idea that we want to present. Plato says that the human being knows everything. That when the human being was created, the archetype in the real world knows everything already, everything. All information it knows. Then it was brought into this world, this dunya. In this dunya, because of the materialism, it forgot everything. And then the whole life journey is remembering everything that we forgot. So when you find something new, or when you discover something new, or when you're learning, he says that you're not actually learning something new, you're remembering what was already with you before. Slowly, you're breaking through the material world, and this is the philosophy of Plato. Now, when you come to some Hurafa, they have a very similar view. Because as human beings, we have the potential to manifest all of Allah's names. Yeah? Allah created us. وَنَفَخْتُ فِيهِ مِنْ رُوحِي. From His Spirit, He blew into us. We have the potential to reach those names. If Allah is Al-Alim and He knows everything, I have the potential to become Al-Alim as well. With the permission and the grace of God, if He gives me that. So you have all these names within you already, the potential. You can achieve. Sallallahu Muhammad wa Muhammad. You can achieve this reality, and I know it sounds very far away, but it's not. There are loads of hadith that say this. Abdi ata'ni takun mathali. If you worship me, if you follow me, my slave, Lord is saying, it's a hadith Qudsi, you will be like me. You'll be like me. My names, you manifest them. You know, my friend, he's a very spiritual guy. We were in London, and then we were speaking to this brother. He was, trying to see if Islam is the real religion. And he went very heavy on him straight away. He said, why are we here? He told him it's to be like God. And he got scared. He's like, what do you mean be like God? To be God-like. But in truth, تَخَلَّقُوا لِإِخْلَاقِ اللَّهِ. We are trying, the way God is, we need to learn the way God is. You know, in Quran we were saying Sadiq, the way that Allah is with the people, with us, how we should be like that with each other, spread peace with each other. Allah's names, His beautiful names, we have the ability to manifest them. Billahi rijal, in aradu, arad. God has men. If they wanted, then He wants. These are hadith, they're out there. There's lots of them, and they're much deeper than this. That you have the ability to manifest these names. But that means these names are already there. Our whole lives, we're trying to achieve. This is when we say perfection. We're saying perfection and then melt in Allah, become nothing in Allah. We're talking about this. When you forget yourself, turid and la turid, I don't want anymore. All I want is not to want. This is what we're talking about. Manifesting those names. So then, Imam Sadiq alayhi salam is telling him, utlub fi nafsika, haqiqat al-ubudiyya. So he tells him, what's haqiqat al-ubudiyya? What is the truth of worship? He tells him it's three. It's three. The first one is that the abd, the true slave, he doesn't really want anything for himself. He doesn't want anything, and he doesn't own anything. Everything he owns is for the Lord. And this abd knows that, because the abd doesn't own. The slave doesn't own anything. The master owns everything. The slave does what the master wants. We're talking about true worship here. I know it's heavy, but this is true worship. This is the aim that we're created for. وَمَا خَلَقْتُ الْجِنَّ وَالْإِنسَ إِلَّا لِيَعْبُدُونَ. Not to want, not to own anything. These clothes are not mine. These are amana, the Lord gave me them. My children, they're not mine. Truly, I don't own them. I don't own my car. I don't own my house. This is all for the Lord. He's let me borrow it for a while. We said Nabi Ayyub said that when he lost all his money, I don't own anything. I came to the world naked. I'll go back to the dirt naked. I'll go back to my Lord naked. This is the number one. The true abd doesn't own anything, and he knows this. So when you lose something, you don't really care because it wasn't yours in the first place. A true abd. Number two, the abd doesn't plan for his life the way as if he was the planner of all things. He knows that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the greatest planner. He knows that whatever actually happens in this world, if he is successful, it's because of Allah. If my children turn out good children, yes, I have good tarbiyah, but it's because of Allah. La hawla wa quwwata illa billah. It's because of God. Good grades, because of God. Any success you attribute it to him, not to the slave. The slave doesn't attribute any success to himself, doesn't plan it out for himself. The true slave. And number three, he is completely consumed by what Allah wants for him. What does Allah want right now? Not what I want. If you think right now how the things that we think about daily are dunyawiyah, and they're to do with our own selfish desires for this world. If we were to think, what does God want from me right now? Our decisions would change. It won't always be what I want. Sometimes what I want and what God wants are different. And if we choose what we want, we're choosing our decision over God's. The true slave does not do that. The true slave, haqiqat al-ubudiyya, it's all for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The master, not the slave. When Imam Sadiq alayhi salam was having this conversation with Amr al-Basri, I wanted to bring this hadith up so that we can sit down, imagine ourselves having this conversation with Imam Mahdi, him telling us this. But what is the greatest act of ubudiyya? What is it? The greatest act of ubudiyya is to connect to the Imam of your time. That's the greatest act. The most you can do is to connect to the Imam of your time. There was a man from Bani Israel in the time of Nabi Musa alayhi salam. Sallallahu ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad. There was a man at the time of Bani Israel. Sallallahu ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad. Guys, it's the final 9. Please. Sallallahu ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad. There was a man from Bani Israel at the time of Nabi Musa alayhi salam. This man, there was a mountain known, then people would go up to the mountain, they would spend 40 days and 40 nights up on the mountain. They would ask Allah for a haja, for a need, and at the end of the 40 days, it's supposed to be accepted. That's what they would say. So the man went up there, would barely eat, would barely drink, just in worship, day and night, in remembrance of Allah. It became like skin and bones, just thinking of God. He asked for his hajjah, 40 days were finished, he came back down, nothing happened. Why wasn't my dua answered? He went around to the people, he asked them. He told them, you know what? Musa, he can speak to the Lord. Go ask him, let's see what happened, let's see what the problem was. So the man didn't want to, but then he went to the Prophet. He went to Nabi Musa alayhi salam. He asked him, I spent all this time praying. I did the 40 days and nothing happened. Can you please see what the problem was? So Nabi Musa gives a call to God. And he tells him, what was his problem? What happened? And the Lord subhanahu wa ta'ala, he told him, even if this man was going to melt like butter melts into fire, the way he wants to come to me, I would not accept from him. And Nabi Musa thought, what crime did this man do? And the Lord told him, he's trying to get to me without going through you. And I want everyone to go through you. I'm the master. I told everyone, come through this door. There are 3 doors, but I want you to come through this one. You don't want to come through that one. Then are you really obeying the master? He's trying to get to me without you, Musa, and I don't want anyone to get to me without you. I want it to be through the way that I want. Aminu billah wa rasulihi. can't do it your way. That's what Iblis did. You know what, Lord? I love you so much, but I don't want Adam. The Lord says, no. You have to come through Adam if you want me. And this is when we know true love, when you sacrifice. It's not the way you want it. That's not true love. So you want to go to the Lord, the best way to go to the Lord is through His gate. His gate right now is Imam al-Hujjah. Sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Now people say, right now the oppression in the world is so much. It's never been this way before. There's been so much oppression. Why is he not here? Is it even fair that we don't have an imam that we can see and talk to? Is it fair? Is it fair if I created outside, I built 12 lampposts and I would turn them on one by one? Every single time I turned one on, everyone went and they broke that lamppost. And no one would take care of that lamppost. Number 2, number 3, number 4, up to number 11. Every lamppost was broken. There's only one lamppost left. And now everyone's asking me, turn it on. They're waiting to break it. Is it fair if I turn that lamppost on? Should I even turn that on? Until there are enough people to take care of that lamppost, to defend that lamppost, not to let anyone break that lamppost, then I'll turn it on. You know, we've heard it many times that the Imam, we're not waiting for the Imam. The Imam's waiting for us. He wants us to do something. How are we actively waiting for him? You know, Imam Hussain alayhi salam, what happened to him happened because of what happened before. Muslim Ibn Aqil in Kufa dictated that the Imam would be killed in Karbala. He was the ambassador. The ambassador was killed, so the Imam was killed. The ambassador. طيب, we're the ambassador right now. How are we acting? Are we getting killed? Are we fighting right? Are we defending our faith? Or are we taking other faiths because we're ashamed of us, because we can't hold on to it? We're the Muslim Ibn Aqil right now. And the Imam's waiting. And then the famous question, what are the signs for the Imam coming? What are the signs? How do I know the Imam's come? I say, why are you looking at the signs? To get the signs. If right now I was going to Ann Arbor from Dearborn, and it said Ann Arbor 30 miles away, does Ann Arbor come closer? Do I come closer to Ann Arbor? Nothing happens. I'm just looking at the sign, I'm getting happy. Oh, 30 miles away. But what did you do? Nothing. It's all well and good. Let's find out information. That's great. But then you're getting so caught up with the signs, you're forgetting to actively wait, to actually work for the Imam. It's not about the signs. It's about what you're doing right now. Sallallahu ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad. So then we have to have this relationship of love with the Imam. You know, I mentioned Dua al-Ahd, Dua of allegiance, a few nights ago, that we recite at dawn for 40 days in a row. And if you recite it for 40 days in a row, Imam Sadiq alayhi salam says that you will be one of the Ansar of the Imam in the last days. Even if you're dead. In the dua, it's beautiful if you read it. It's only about 7 minutes long. Try to read it. If you can't read Arabic, put it on YouTube. He says, even if I'm dead, even if death comes between me and the Imam, look at the love. See, even in death, all he thinks about is the Imam. Even if I am dead, when the time comes, please raise me. Raise me up in my shroud, holding my sword, ready to respond to the caller when he calls me. That's all he cares about. And then the words of love. أرني طلعت الرشيدة والغرة الحميدة. طلعت الرشيدة والغرة الحميدة. You know the ghurra, you know, like the turban, you see the curls. He wants to see the curls of the Imam. In the dua, he says that. It's a language of love. You know, we love our parents because they brought us into the world. They are asl, but the Imam is asl wujud. There would be no world right now if there was no hujjah. He is the source of why we're here. And it is a very important relationship with him that we're not seeing, we're not living. You know the story of Nabi Yusuf and his brothers and Benjamin? You guys know that story? You know how when his brothers came, they didn't recognize Nabi Yusuf. But Nabi Yusuf saw Benjamin And Benjamin, he had certain attributes that Nabi Yusuf wanted, because he wanted to keep him with him. So what they did was, because Nabi Yusuf wanted Benjamin to stay with him, they organized a plan where he took a cup and he planted it in the bag of Benjamin. And then he said, wait, there's a cup missing, there's something missing. And all the brothers said, there's no way anyone here would have stolen it. So they searched the bags, and it turns out in Benjamin's bag, he framed him. Nabi Yusuf made a scenario and he framed his brother that he stole the cup. Because they said, I must take him prisoner now. He said, no, please don't take him prisoner. His dad's an old man, he means a lot to his dad. So Nabi Yusuf ﷺ responds with the ayah, قَالَ مَعَاذَ اللَّهِ أَن نَأْخُذَ إِلَّا مَنْ وَجَدْنَا مَتَاعَنَا عِنْدَهُ إِنَّا إِذًا لَظَالِمُونَ. He said, God forbid we take anyone except who we find our goods with. We will only take those who our goods are with. So Benjamin and the cup. If I take anyone else who my goods are not with, because they told him, take one of us instead. He said, if I take anyone else, then I'm an oppressor. I cannot be an oppressor. I must take the one who took my goods, who has my goods. His mata'ana, my goods. What goods though? The cup? Is that really what he means? You see, for every dhahir in the Quran, there's a batin. Nabi Yusuf ﷺ, he's the insan al-kamil. He's the perfect human being in his time. The way Imam Mahdi is the insan al-kamil now. Nabi Yusuf, he has all the attributes that we love. Courage, faith, he has manners. He has knowledge. He has all the mata'. Mata'. He says, mata'ana anda. So he looks at Benjamin. That means Benjamin has some mata' that Nabi Yusuf wants. He has certain attributes. Nabi Yusuf, it's not the cup. So he said, I want to bring those mata' here, because if I take anyone else, I'll be an oppressor. That means anyone who doesn't have the attributes that the Imam wants from us, he won't take us. He wants us to have certain attributes. Then he will take us. When he sees his mata' with us, he will take us with him. He will create a scenario, the same way Nabi Yusuf created a scenario. He will frame us. He will plant a cup in our bag, and he will come to us. You don't have to worry about it. He will do it for us. He will bring us to him. We have to have those mata'. But what are they? What are those attributes that he wants? Now there's so many, but I wanted to remember a few. And bear with me with these. Sorry that it's the final night, so I'm trying to get everything out as much as I can while I still can. So those attributes, what are they? First one, very important, that we all must have in this day and age. Maybe the most important attribute, basira, is vision. You must know, be aware. Basira. Don't be duped. Like, for example, the Canadian Prime Minister that was just elected, Justin Trudeau, I think his name is. You know, everyone's so happy about him. Everyone's posting on Facebook. He's good with Muslims and hijab. And then just check out what he says about Israel. You know, we have Israel's back. No matter what happens with Israel. The one thing that all the Canadian parties can agree on is we back Israel. But the Muslims, no basira, straight away. He says some nice thing about hijab. Oh, we love him. We start putting him on our profile pictures. Where's the basira? How can we so easily be tricked by pretty words? Where's the basira? Again, basira, unity. Sunnis and Shi'as. How much must be said about that now? People are trying to conquer Islam by dividing us. People with basira know that unity is one of the main principles that we must adhere to today. That we are one ummah. That if we stick together, we won't be broken. That it's not Sunni versus Shia. That what's happening now is not that. They want us to believe that, so we separate, and it's not that, and we can't let it be that. Or our differences with Maraja', let alone Sunni and Shia. You know, if you follow Sheikh Wahid Khurasani, that means you love Sayyida Zahra. If you follow Sayyid Sadiq Shirazi, that means you love Imam Hussain. If you follow Sayyid Khamenei, that means you love Imam Mahdi. Everyone has an Imam, and it's like a football team. I'm against you, you're against me, I don't sit with you, you don't sit with me. Where did that come from? There's no such thing as a marja' for an imam. There's no such thing as a marja' having a team. The marja' don't speak like this to each other. There has to be unity. Sunni Shia, unity between us as well. It's okay to talk to someone else, to have some healthy dialogue with someone else. Find out what he thinks. Let him find out what you think. Have basira. Oh, it's Muharram. Muharram is a time for change. It's a time for us to grow closer to our Imam. But then what are the questions that we will get every single day? Is takbir halal or haram? Are we still there? It's tiring. Why are we growing? Still on the same subjects, year in, year out. Where's the human growth? This is so much more. This revolution is a human revolution for us to grow from. There are so many things that we have to have basira about. Personalities and politics. This day and age, the cultures, the technology. East and West, you have to have basira or you will lose your faith. You have to be aware. Follow the news. Find out what's going on. Find out the stances of your ulama. Be a free thinker. My relative, she messaged me at university. They all saying Imam Khomeini is an evil man. Imam Khomeini is someone who was a tyrannical ruler. He was a massacrer. She told me, Hussain, is this true? I told her, no. I don't think I've ever read about a man like Imam Khomeini before, such a pure man. And I've tried my best every single night. I've mentioned one thing from him. And you guys have probably noticed that. Because I think that if we hold on to someone like him, we won't go astray. And people, they have doubt because there's so much character assassination. There's so much propaganda to bring us away from someone like Imam Khomeini. People don't like to talk about these things. But I want to talk about these things. No, not at all. My advice, everyone hang on to him as much as you can. Read from him. Or the world right now. Look at the stances in the world. Saudi Arabia. Find out about Saudi Arabia. Look to its history. You know Saudi Arabia, you know the royal family of Saudi Arabia? They're actually from the heritage of Bani Qinaqa', the Jewish tribe that used to fight the Rasul. They're from that tribe. When people say they're Jewish, it's not some arrivals crazy thing. It's the history. The family tree is there if you want to check it out. Find out about the history of Wahhabism and Takfiris. And that's not Sunnis. And that it's not Sunnis versus Shias. It's Sunnis and Shias together versus them. And don't be fooled. You see what happens right now. You see ISIS, you see Daesh, you see Takfiris, Jabhat al-Nusra. You think these guys are the real enemy. Israel is not that bad. It's two sides of the same coin. If you say that, you're not very politically aware. Israel is the main enemy. The main enemy. You must always remember that. And any friend with Israel, we have to disassociate from. The main enemy. Some ulama, some sheikhs, when what began in Syria 5 years ago, they said that what's happening there is not true jihad, and the people who die are not shuhada. If we went by what they said, and these are sheikhs in Qom, 20 years in Qom, 30 years in Qom saying this. Not any normal sheikh, has much knowledge. And he's saying this, no jihad in Syria. What's happening right now is not true jihad, not for God. And that if we were to follow what they said, then Zainab's shrine would have been demolished. Thankfully, men of God were there, they protected it, but they were given permission to by our great Maraja. Some Maraja, they acted fast. We have to have basira to see who are the true scholars, who are the non-true scholars. It's 100%. Ayatollah Khamenei, he said at that time, he acted very fast. He said that every single drop of blood in Syria is on my neck on the Day of Judgment. Go. Basira. To see. We're going to follow this or that. 5 years later, it shows the importance of what happened, and the fast action showed. But before then, everyone's like, how could they do this? Oppression, helping the oppressor. No basira. Basira, very important for us to follow. Attribute number 2, our relationship with the Imam. He wants us to have this love relationship with him. There's no problem in the middle of the night to wake up knowing the Imam is my leader, Imam Mahdi. I wake up, my chest out, I salute him. I'm your soldier. I'm ready. In the middle of the night, no one sees you. Whatever you need, I'm here. And then the next night, you can wake up with your back broken. Bending down, your hand out. Imam, take me by the hand. Guide me, show me, I'm broken, be with me. Help me. You know, every week the Imam, he has a script of deeds of his Shi'ah. And he sees what we do. And if we do haram, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He will punish us for it. But before that, let's be shy. The Imam sees what we're doing. And then he tells Allah, Ya Allah, I have a talab, I have a request. Allah says to him, Anta Aziz, utlub, ask me, what do you need? Whatever you need, I will give you. Imam says, اغفر له, اغفر لها. Forgive her, forgive him. فغفر له وغفر لها. So he forgives. But soon the Imam might not even open your script of deeds anymore. He doesn't want to see that. And this is the same as Kufa hurting Imam Hussain and leaving him. It's the same thing, except here we're his Shi'a, we're hitting the Imam with arrows. And we're hurting our Imam with arrows, with our sins, with our deeds. Sallu ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. Have this relationship with him where he's a human being. You know, we forget sometimes that he's human. Yes, he's insan al-kamil, but he also needs an anis. He also needs a friend. He's a human being. He wants to know that he has people fighting for him and waiting for him, being with him. Speak to him like you speak to your dad, for big and small, all news. You have a good grade? Talk to the Imam about it. Wallah. He's real. It's not an imagination. He's real. He's a man. We sometimes think he's so sacred that it becomes an imaginary figure. It's not. You know, many people ask, how can we see him? How can we get close to him? There's a really beautiful story. Inshallah, I'm almost done. Sorry I've taken long today. It's a very beautiful story. And there's a man, he comes to one of the shaykhs and he says, you know, show me the way to see Imam Mahdi. Give me, what do I have to do? So he gives him the amal. He says, you know, do this, do that. So the man goes, he spends all night, you know, 200 times I say this, 3,000 times I say this. On this night, I do this amal. On this night, I say this dua. And he's waiting and waiting and waiting. And then one day, he gets a dream. He's told, go to this supermarket. Go to this small little shop. Supermarket, very small. So he goes there. He sees a very normal man, an old man. Matar, he's just working at the till of the shop. And then a young man in his 40s, very beautiful face, which is supposed to be the Imam. He comes, he sits by the shopkeeper, and begins to talk to him, smiling at him, giving words of love, taking words of love, lutuf between each other. And the man looks, he's like, this man, this shopkeeper, this man at the grocery store, gets visited by Imam Mahdi. What's his secret? He's no big deal. He's no big sheikh. He hasn't done anything great. He's just a shopkeeper. He's just a grocery store man. He just sells vegetables. How come the Imam's visiting him? Let me see what's going on. So he keeps watching. He notices a woman comes along. She comes. She has some goods to sell. She comes to the man, the shopkeeper. She tells him, man, I am a widow. I don't have much money. I have orphans. This is all I have. And if you can take these for 3 dinar, they're worth about 3 dinar. It would do a great favor to me and my children. The man looks at them, they're worth 3 dinar. He goes, Hajj, no, these are worth 5 dinar. She's shocked. They're worth 3 dinar. She tells him, no, you're being kind. This is 3 dinar. He goes, no, this is actually worth 5. He can easily buy it for 3 dinar and then give her 2 dinar sadaqah, no? It's the same amount, but he doesn't want to embarrass her. He doesn't want to make her shy. He doesn't want her to feel like, I'm giving you something. Because I know, Hajj, these are 5 dinar, I only take them for 5, no less. He doesn't let her feel that. She says, okay, thank you. He takes the goods, he gives her the 5 dinar. The man realizes, oh, okay. Because of his akhlaq, because of how he considers other people, his family that we have, a human family. The Imam visits him. So the Imam tells him, come. He comes to the Imam, he tells him, don't sin and I will visit you. Just don't sin. That's it. Just don't sin. And we might think, that's it? The Imam will see me if I don't sin, that's easy. I mean, don't sin. I mean everything. I mean with the way we present ourselves, our modesty, my relationship with my spouse, do I hurt her, do I hurt him? My parents, the people outside, my salat, my wajibat, things I put into my body, everything. You have to be in muraqabah all the time. You have to be off looking at yourself. Am I sinning? Every night before you go to sleep, on your pillow, what did I do today? Maybe write it down. Just don't sin. You know, it's one rule. And if we stick to it, we get the ubudiyya. Sallallahu ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad. So you must develop this love relationship with the Imam. But what's greater than love? The other day we gave that Hadith al-Qudsi about man arafani, ahabbani, man ahabbani, ahabbaytuhu, hashaqtuhu, man ashaqani, ashaqtuhu. We said ashq. Someone asked me outside, what does ashq mean? And I said, you know, there's no English word for it. Ashq is ashq. It's just true love. It's when you melt in love. You're nothing anymore, just love. You want to have ashq with the Imam the same way Ashab al-Hussain had ashq with him. Sayyidah Zainab, a woman in her 50s. She's at home. She's with her husband Abdullah. She has children. She's safe at home. She doesn't have to go with her brother. Now some people know, they say they knew what's going to happen in Karbala. Whether they knew in Karbala or they didn't know, it's obvious something dangerous is going to happen. Imam Hussain is going towards something dangerous. Whether they know or they don't know. So that both people with both opinions can agree to this. So Sayyidah Zainab, she asks permission from her husband. He tells her, you can go. She goes with her brother, but she doesn't go because he's her brother. She goes because he's her Imam. Yani, my relationship with the Imam is the same as Sayyidah Zainab's relationship with her Imam. It's greater than brother-sister. It's asl al-wujud. Your existence is because of this hujjah. So Sayyidah Zainab, after everything she went through, you know, her heart wouldn't let her leave Imam Hussain. You know, we say it sometimes, say, "Qalbi ma biyahmilni." My heart can't take this. She can't. She goes with the Imam. Everything she goes through. Have you ever heard in the majalis she say her sons' names? Like, if in the narrations, the true narrations, only Hussain. She had Muhammad and Aun in Karbala. They went. 2 sons. 7 brothers. Several nephews. Ali al-Akbar, Ali al-Asghar, Qasim. Cousins that she grew up with her entire life. 18 relatives she lost in one day. You know the feeling of the aunt. Sometimes the aunt loves the sons of her brothers more than her own children. And you know, when we lose someone that we love, how different is life? Eating is not the same, drinking is not the same. She lost 18 loved ones in the same morning. 18. Of the highest level of relationship, not my friend in school. Not someone I knew a long time ago. These are her family, she grew up with them, she lives with them. She was 18. But did you ever see her say anything except Hussain? Only Hussain. Always, just Hussain. al-Baneen. They tell her about her sons. Don't tell me about my sons. Tell me about Hussain. Just tell me about Hussain. Ishq. This is Ishq. Qasim hasn't even hit puberty yet. A young boy kissing his uncle's hands and feet to let him fight. Death sweeter than honey. Ishq. There were some people his age, they didn't fight. Qasim had ishq. Abu Fadl Abbas brings the water to his mouth, then drops it again. How can I drink if my brother is thirsty? How can I drink? Never. My Imam is thirsty. My Imam, I will never drink. Ishq. Someone might say that's not rational, that's not logical, that doesn't make sense. If Abu Fadl Abbas drank the water, he has a better chance to get to the Imam. But that's not how the heart works. The heart doesn't work like that. When it's ishq, it's ishq. It's not about rationality, it's ishq. It's in Karbala, the Ashab, the night before, all fighting, they want to fight, who starts first? He couldn't wait for the battle. It's ishq. the servants of Imam Hussain alayhi salam. The Imam goes to him, he's on the battlefield about to die. The Imam puts his cheek on his cheek and he screams out, "Who is like me?" And the son of Rasulullah is placing his cheek on mine. Who's like me? Ishq. So what can I do to achieve this ishq? How can I achieve ishq with my Imam? 3 steps, main steps, that I'm going to end on these inshallah. 3 main steps, 3. First one, ma'rifah. When you know the Imam, you love him more. When you know the Imam, you have ishq for the Imam. The same way now, Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa alayhi. The Prophet, if we read about his history, we find out more about him, his life, his ambitions, his feelings, his hardships. You begin to love him more, realizing that this man, this Prophet, took this Arab nation from the Jahiliyyah to one of the greatest nations in the world. He took us from worshipping stones to the glory of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. If we achieve heaven, it's because of this man. If we achieve salvation, it's because of all the hardships this man sacrificed in his life. Knowing that, I begin to love him more. What would I give for the Prophet though? Am I like those ones that say to the Imam, "Our hearts are with you, but our swords are against you"? What kind of love is that? Or is it ishq? Imam Mahdi, when you know about him more, find out more about him, about his life, about his history, about his mission, you begin to love him more. That's number 1, ma'rifah. Number 2, remembrance. When you love someone, you remember that someone. Your mind never leaves that someone. You know, when the mother, when her son goes to Hajj, or goes to study, I can tell you from my own mother how much she, "What are you eating? Are you sleeping? Are you cold? You know, is anyone with you?" Just always thinking, where is he now? Is he alone? Is he? Ishq, love. Think Imam Mahdi. Where's he fasting? Who's having iftar with him today? Where's he going? Is he hungry? Is he cold? Where's he sleeping? What's he thinking about right now? You're remembering them. If you remember someone, you follow someone. If you love someone. When you love someone, you cry because of separation with your love. You want the separation to end. You remember that someone. That's number 2. Number 3, and the final. Number 3 is the thing that we've been talking about all these nights, how to purify one's heart. Tazkiyat al-nafs, and the self. These diseases, to get rid of these diseases. When the heart is clean, it becomes a heart of ishq. It becomes a heart that can love the Imam. Sallu ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. We have a hadith about this, of the heart, it cannot contain 2 loves, and Allah will not accept this. The heart cannot love Allah and Iblis at the same time. It cannot go both ways. If it's a heart of the dunya, it will hold a sword against Imam Mahdi. The same way they held swords against Imam Hussain. If it's a heart of the akhirah, it will be the ones who fight with Ashab Imam Mahdi. The same way Ashab al-Hussain will be the friends of the Imam. Brothers and sisters, we are the ones that must be there for the Imam. Right now, there is no Fadl Abbas for Imam Mahdi. There is no Ali al-Akbar. There is no Qasim. There is no Zainab. There is no. You are Abbas. You are Qasim. You are Zainab. You are Ali al-Akbar. We have to be the Ali al-Akbar for our Imam. We have to be Fadl Abbas for our Imam. We have to be Zainab for our Imam. It's up to us only. There's no one but us here. The Imam, our role as Shi'ia, we are the junood of the Imam. He's not coming to save us. We're the soldiers of the Imam. He's coming to save the world. It's a human mission. It's for the entire world. The thing that sets us apart from other people is that we know He's coming, and we have the Quran and the Ahlul Bayt that explain to us. So what does He want from us? He wants us to be muttaqeen, jahizeen, ulama, have taqwa, be ready, have the knowledge. We're going to create a worldwide society. It's not about the war that's going to happen with the Imam. It's about how do we set the society up afterwards. We have to, all of us, have to pursue education, have the basira, know our politics, we have to be very aware. That's Ashura is this. Ashura is to make us keep growing. To remind us, we are the Abu Fadl Abbas and Zainab. We are the Habib. Oh, He won't come. We become the worldwide religion. 30 years ago, who would have thought that the American president would want to see a scholar in a turban and the scholar would say no? Becoming a worldwide religion. We're going to have responsibilities coming up. People are going to ask us questions. We're saying we have the answers. We have to know the answers. It's the responsibilities on each and every one of us. To be Abu Fadl, to be Abbas, and to be Zainab. We'll be like the friends of Imam Hussain the night before. They told him, even if we are to be killed, Ya Hussein, to be killed and burnt and have our ashes thrown into the wind, to be revived, killed and burnt and have our ashes thrown into the wind, to be revived and killed and burnt and thrown into the wind, we will never leave you, Ya Hussein. Never. Tomorrow is Ashura. Tomorrow is the day we pledge our allegiance with the Imam. Tomorrow we tell him we will not leave your grandson. Tomorrow we tell him he's safe, we will not let them hurt him, we will protect that lamppost. Tomorrow when we scream, everyone, Labbaika ya Hussein! Labbaika ya Hussein! Labbaika ya Hussein! Labbaika ya Hussein! Sallu ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. صلوا على محمد وآل محمد. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. صلوا على محمد وآل محمد. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. اللهم صل على محمد اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. Sayyida Zainab comes to Imam al-Hussain. Akhi, your newborn is dying of thirst. Take him to them, maybe they will give him some water. The Imam took his son with a heavy heart. He went to the battlefield all alone with only a newborn baby. He tells the people, if I have sinned, if your problem is with me, what is the fault of this baby? Why hurt the children? The child is dying of thirst. Give him something to drink and give him back. His mother's milk has dried. He will soon die if you don't give him some water. Umar ibn Sa'd called Harmala. He told him to hit the baby with an arrow. Harmala said he put his hand onto the bow and arrow. He placed the arrow into the bow and aimed towards the baby. He shot it at the baby towards the fatal point. point in his neck. He said his neck was golden as it pierced him. When Mukhtar al-Thaqafi quoted Harmala, he told him, people always ask me, have you killed Harmala yet? He asked him, what did you do in Karbala? He says, Ya Mukhtar, they gave me 7 arrows, 3 of them landed. Which 3 did you land? The first arrow pierced the eye of Abu Fadil. The second arrow pierced the chest of Imam al-Hussain. But the third arrow is the one that hurt me the most. The third arrow pierced the neck of the Radhi. Harmala says his own heart broke when he looked at the baby push his arms out, trying to reach for the neck of its father, as its arms flapped like the wings of a slaughtered bird. Harmala says, my heart broke once more when I saw Hussain take the baby back to the tent. As he stood outside with the baby covered, he didn't know how he was going to give him to his mother. She thinks he went to drink some water. Ya Abdullah, why isn't Ali crying? Did he drink some water? Imam al-Hussain pulled the cloak off of Ali al-Asghar. His mother screamed out, Ali, ya walada. Imam al-Hussain, on the night before the 10th, he came to see his woman sitting down, watching the skies, watching the stars. Imam al-Hussain looked at Zainab. He asked her to be patient for him for what will occur in the morning. She asked him, Ya Hussain, have you tested the faith of your companions? I am scared that they will leave you once they see the swords and the spears. He answered her, I have tested their faith. There is not one single coward among them. They are eager for death like the baby is eager for the milk of a mother. Someone heard Sayyidah Zainab asking this. They went to Habib ibn Mudahir and they told him, Sayyidah Zainab is scared that Hussain will be alone. Habib took his sword. By God, if I was not waiting for the permission of Hussain, I would have attacked them right now with this sword. Sayyidah Zainab stayed in her tent. The companions came out. They gathered to show support for Sayyidah Zainab. Aina Ansar Allah, the men of Allah, the men of Rasulullah, the men of Ali, the men of Fatima, they all gathered outside to show support for Imam al-Hussain. Sayyidah Zainab sat alone, watching the stars. Ya lil tawil sa يا ليل طول ساعتك يا ليل احمي آهاتك لو ودعت الويليام تتولاني العيد one together يا ليل يا ليل احمل آهاتك يا ليل يا ليل احمل آهاتك لو ودعت الويليام تتولاني العدوان طول يا ليل الوداع شماطته وياك ساهر ما أميل مني البواكي حتى لو تمنى واضح حسين بس هالليلة يمي ما تشوف عيوني باتشي صدقني يا ليل القان خايفة من اشباح القدر خايفة من اشباح القدر وخاف ظل مكسورة خاطر يا ليل ارحم دلالي يا ليل ضاعت آمالي يا ليل ارحم دلالي يا ليل ضاعت آمالي لو ودعت الويليان تتولاني العيد وانت كربلاء يا ليل طول ساعتك يا ليل ملاتك يا ليل طول ساعتك يا ليل احملاتك لو ودعت الويليان تتولاني